Alright, guys, today I'm going to be reading some incel posts from the Incel forum. Now, I'm also going to be giving them some advice, depending on the post. I mean, I'm not allowed to give KYS advice on here, and some of these posts are just an outpouring of just blind self-destructive hatred, but for the ones where I think I could have some advice or some insight to provide, I'll do that. Because a lot of these incels really just need guidance from someone who's smarter than the people on their forums. But anyway, let's get right into it. Okay, right here with the first one, we can kind of diagnose a problem. A poll. Have you ever asked a girl out? The option that won is no, because I'm sub 5 and already know it's over. So most of them haven't even asked a girl out. Second place is yes, a few. And as the number of girls you asked out gets higher, it drops off further. So I'm going to tell you the way that an incel would read this. An incel would read it as the people who asked out a few girls figuring out that it's over. Some people know their place and they know it's over. Some people have to figure out that it's over, but only a fool would keep trying. That's the incel reading of that. Now, my Chad reading of that is that these people are largely so inside their own heads that they refuse to push through things. Now, here, listen to me. If you're an incel, I want you to listen right now. You just knowing your place and giving up is exactly what the people who hate you want you to do. The normies who judge you, in my day we called them the preppy kids. You know, when I was in like high school, middle school, I wasn't exactly one of the cool kids either. But the people who are judging you and thinking you're weird, they want you to give up and make yourself smaller because you realize it's over. Because in their mind, that's you being a good boy and knowing your place. Now, when I got to college, I decided, hey, wait a minute. Knowing your place is kind of overrated. I'm going to start shedding my inhibitions, start being willing to impose myself on the world, and just putting myself out there. And after like a year of that, I was fucking killing it, man. Like, here's the thing. If it succeeds, you'll ascend from inceldom. Incels call it ascending when you stop being an incel. Best case scenario, you'll ascend. Worst case scenario, you'll at least be able to offend the people who don't see you as a person. Because the people who really hate you guys, the people who bully you in school and all that, they feel offended when you act as if you're their equal. So that's exactly why you should act as if you're their equal and go out, put yourself out there. Carry yourself with the assumption that people should accept you. One way I like to say this, and this may be a little edgy, is carry yourself with the same confidence as a moderately attractive young woman. And by that, I mean, you know what your average, like, 22-year-old blonde chick, you know how she acts, right? Like, it's not overt arrogance. I'm not accusing them of that. It's just kind of an implicit confidence where if they're being excluded from something or shut out, it's like a big surprise and it's like, oh, well, something must be wrong with them. That's the same kind of way you got to carry yourself. Anyway, little dad speech over. On to the next one. Got height mogged by a foid at eye doctor. Okay, height mogged is just where someone else is taller than you, which to them is a big deal. Foid is short for femoid, which is what they call females. I don't know how this evolved. But anyway, got height mogged by foid at eye doctor. The assistant came to get me for the appointment, and she fucking height mogged me, that bitch. It is very suicide fueling to me. Makes me feel powerless. Siam this fucked up incel's world. Okay, let me ask you something. Did she also do the anime thing where she like pins you up against the wall and leans against it? And did she like look into your eyes and maybe you blush a little, and then she tells you you're cute, but you start giggling and try to look away, and she grabs you by the face and pulls you in to kiss you. Did she maybe make you try on a maid outfit and some cat ears? Okay, so as down bad as that fucking little interpretation of this scenario sounds, it's still healthier than yours. I understand there's a lot of people out there nowadays that think height is everything, but you can't go assuming everyone taller than you is like fucking thinking you're less than them. You can't be getting suicidal every time, oh, a woman is taller than me. I mean, I'm like 5'10", and I've gotten with a woman who's 5'11" before. Height wasn't really a big deal. Had to put my cat down. He was on my lap and he was starting to purr too loud into the microphone. Okay, so this one. I hope nobody clips me reading this out of context. I don't deserve a girl as a black cell. I acknowledge I don't deserve a girl now. I should not complain about it. What would I offer this girl? BBC, I'm sub 8 inches. Dude, most of the population is sub 8 inches. Like, if you're 7 inches, that's still pretty fucking good. Like, that, no one's gonna complain about that. At my age, 24, soon to be 25, I don't have a degree. Okay, like, I graduated college at 27, bro. I left my home country for insecurities, gangs, politics, problems to come here. I would have been a senior in computer engineering by now. For now, I'm living at my family's house. The minimum wage I'm earning won't let me move out and or buy a car soon. Okay, so it sounds like your real problem is because you're an immigrant. And being an immigrant and the culture shock here can suck. That's why a lot of immigrants kind of form their own little communities and date within their own. Like, I used to get around. I never got with an immigrant girl because usually their parents don't approve of them getting with white boys. The families that have been, in the U.S. for generations don't care. But if their parents moved here straight from the old country, like, they're gonna shut it down just about every time. I can't grow my hair because I have to follow the rules of my aunt, uncle, and father, which makes me more subhuman. I'm not fluent in English yet. She would be disgusted by my accent. See, this is more immigrant problems. It sounds like your parents are kind of holding you back with some old-fashioned stuff here. It sucks, but for now I would focus on trying to get some kind of independence. Maybe in college try to hit up some other foreign girls. I have nothing to offer to a girl. I don't know any beautiful places in the city. If I had a girl, logically we should go out often. I wouldn't know how to behave, which restaurants to go, how to order, which foods to choose for the date. I'm fucking socially crippled. So, like, here's the thing. There are girls out there who are like, oh, you can't take me to Cheesecake Factory. That's cheap and I'm worth more than that. Those aren't the girls that you want anyway. The girl I'm with now, like, our first date, I took her to this little hole-in-the-wall bar and grill. We had a good time. So yeah, you'll learn the beautiful places around the city as you get more social. But, I mean, you can't put the cart before the horse. You're not gonna jump in with no experience and immediately be great. And anyone who's not, like, a dipshit will realize that. So they're not gonna judge you too hard. I only go to church, gym, and work. Retail, wagey. Oh, dude, do not internalize the retail mindset, though. Because, like, I remember working retail, fucked my entire mentality up for, like, a couple of years. It was awful. Took forever for my personality to fully recover. You will gain so many inhibitions and neuroses from working customer service if you don't harden your head against it. What would I talk with her? I don't watch soccer or movies anymore. When I have time, I do some programming. The artists don't interested me. I don't watch TV shows. Normally, I'd make fun of the bad English here, but, he's not from around here. Yeah, programming's a tough thing to talk to just about anyone about. even like I'm a dude and my eyes would kind of glaze over when you got too deep into it just because I don't get it. Soccer, Americans don't watch soccer, man. So don't worry about that. Movies, people who talk about movies constantly are kind of boring. Look for something like outside of the entertainment you consume. Well, actually, like music is a good thing to bond on. Like if you're someone who can like put people on to really good bands that are unheard of, like that can get you some clout. I was known for putting people onto bands that were off-putting and they went, what the fuck is this? But that's a different thing. Let's see. I don't have experience. I don't know how to kiss. I am virgin. I wouldn't know how to do foreplay. Kiss her. Maybe she'd left me when she'd see I'm trying to eat her lips while kissing her. It sounds like you have a vague idea of what not to do. So don't freak out too bad here. So like fucking the inexperienced thing, you really just got to keep grinding. Like, you may not be able to get the supermodel that everyone wants while you're a virgin, but just get someone who is, roughly as inexperienced as you are. Which, yes, in America, I know we're skanky here, so you might have to lower your standards quite a bit to get someone who's a virgin at 24 in America, because dating is super easy for women here. But I don't know. Play up the mysterious foreign guy kind of mystique. Like, women think that's cute. Okay, on to the next one. Cringe is a word used by Gen Z to refer to ugly men who do anything, like exist. Oh, this is not a bad post, okay? I'm gonna explain why. Okay. He says, I used to think Zoomers said cringe when someone did something embarrassing. But with time and the advent of TikTok, I realized that the concept is much deeper and has a black pill connotation. Gen Z uses the concept cringe whenever an ugly person explains something, does something ridiculous, or just does anything against the neurotypical grain. Okay, he gives an example. I already know the fucking examples. Okay, Gen Z actually does think everything is cringe. We, especially Gen Z, is living in but my generation, millennials too, we're living in kind of a crowdsourced surveillance state thanks to social media and the prevalence of smartphones everywhere, to where anything you do could become a viral moment against your will. And it is making people over-socialized, and it's making them neurotic. It's giving them a bunch of inhibitions that honestly are doing nothing but holding them back and making them less than what they could be. And when they see other people who don't have those inhibitions, it makes them uncomfortable. It may even be a jealousy thing, or they may just feel threatened that, this goes against the worldview I've accepted, to where, you're put in this little fucking box and you stay there. And, I think internet cringe culture has kind of done some good things. Like, bad ideas get shot down more quickly now. For instance, like, scene kids are never truly going to come back as long as cringe culture is a thing. But at the same time, it's gone a little bit too far, and we do dismiss everything as cringe. Just replying cringe has kind of become a thought-terminating cliche. And yeah, you're onto something. Like, a lot of people are rejecting the cringe culture mindset for that reason, and you would probably fit in with those types of people. A lot of them are kind of SJW. There's some just like harmless weebs in there. You might, I don't know, fucking like, I know a couple of girls who are just kind of, nerdy weeaboo types who are of the same mindset as you, where why should I care if something is cringe? Okay. Anyone else go down the MGTOW incel pay pig cuckold pipeline? This is gonna be one where I'm gonna have to give the advice that I'm not allowed to give on here. Okay, no, the incel's not the bad guy here. This is a Reddit post. I'm currently in a third wheel financial cuckold arrangement with a younger married couple. The wife has the exact type of feet I like. Large with extremely long toes. To top it off, the husband has a foot fetish, so he is basically living my dream. I live vicariously through him and enjoy funding their sex life purchases like condoms and lube. I've turned my empty jealousy into constructive jealousy. That is not constructive. It's, you know what, OP, I support you here. I get that your username is like a chronically online racial slur and you're a fast cell, which I assume means fascist incel. But in this case, you are right. It's better to be an incel than to be whatever the fuck this is. But at the same time, you're on an incel forum where people act like crabs in a bucket. So if you show them that a lifestyle that's lower and more bottom of the barrel than yours is out there, you're gonna get some people who drop down to that. Because these people really do tend to go to the lowest common denominator. Okay. Incel trait. You make degenerate normies act moral/wholesome and boring. In a nutshell, acting degenerate is a form of submission, i.e. one is communicating that you are above me and that I am willing to gesture for you. Foids act degenerate, drink like fish, act like retards around Chad, i.e. they jester max. That's where you act funny to try to get people to like you, which is bad because reasons for Chad. But then suddenly when you roll along, they suddenly take off their slutty dress, put on a hijab, talk in boring business-like manner, claim to have never touched a drop of alcohol, and go to church every Sunday, rescuing puppies and start learning French. They don't want to be caught dead acting degenerate near you. Okay, so here's where you're getting this wrong. Acting degenerate is not an act of submission. Girls in college always acted skanky around me, but that's because I acted like a hoe too. Like, when I was acting degenerate, I wasn't submitting to anyone. I was just acting uninhibited, and being uninhibited is good. And I bring up, inhibition is kind of a buzzword for me, because, I feel like we're all too high inhibition here. But if you're making people cover up their so-called degeneracy, go from party girls to acting all innocent, it's not because they refuse to submit to you. It's because you kind of give off snitch vibes. You seem too straight-laced. You give off that undercover cop kind of personality. If you learn to pull the stick out of your ass a little and be a little more fun, they'll do the same around you. But you're probably coming off as the kind of person who would judge them for it, which the fact that you post on an incel forum, I mean, they may have clocked you correctly. But you need to realize that, don't hate the sluts when you can become a slut. Okay, why incels deserve more sex than anyone else on Earth. We incels have experienced more psychological trauma than most motherfuckers ever have in their entire lives. The world is entitled to giving all of us sex with Stacy's or Becky's to recompensate us for all of this. You should try emo maxing. I mean, you can be the dark brooding guy, and if you have the aesthetic to match, put on some skinny jeans, have some fucking dark flippy fucking emo kid hair. Emo maxing works, okay? That was kind of my niche. I was kind of angsty when I was young too. Hell, I still am, I'm edgy, I listen to weird music, always been kind of an outsider, but the chicks who listen to bullshit music like Broken Side used to love me back in college. Thankfully, Broken Side fans don't still exist, so I don't know if that would still hold up today, but yeah, I've given you your niche, go for it. Stop being a bitter asshole and learn how to market yourself. Two foids were laughing at me on the bus. I got on the bus and two girls started laughing at me after I went to the middle of the bus. After settling there, out of nowhere, they started laughing. Initially, I thought they were laughing at something unrelated to me, but after some time on the bus, I realized they were laughing at me, because every time I moved to wipe off the sweat I got from running to catch the bus, it became even more amusing for them, considering my unattractive appearance. I started feeling uncomfortable, especially considering I'm one of those people who sweat when anxious. I feel awful. Okay, so this could be something where it's just a coincidence and you're two in your own head. Or you could be getting bullied. I don't know. This could be like a high school situation and you were on the school bus. And yeah, high schoolers are dickheads, okay? I've reached the damn kids get off my lawn phase of my life. So, like, I get high schoolers are dickheads. You don't want to overreact to this to where you look insecure. But a good way to kind of get a feel for whether they're laughing at you or something else is just stare at them when they laugh. Next time they start laughing, stare at them a little bit. See what they do. If they get super uncomfortable or if they talk some shit, there you have your answer. Then it was directed at you. If not, then either they weren't talking shit about you or you successfully intimidated them into shutting up. Foids on looks. Okay, this is just some screenshots. I didn't blow up all of them to be readable because some of them are just too long. I ain't reading all that. I hate when ugly men stare at me. When a man objectifies me, I get really upset, unless he's hot. I hate when ugly guys flirt with me, but I keep forgetting I'm an ugly bitch. Ugly guy, sexual harassment. Hot guy, oh, he just complimented my ass. Okay, so I want you to notice most of these screenshots come from Twitter. Girls on Twitter do this weird thing where they kind of have their own little subculture where they will hype each other up for acting awful. Usually things like man-hating, gold-digging. It's very much the tee-hee, I'm so petty and crazy, isn't it cute thing. And then all the other, like, you know, low-level shithead type of women hype them up for it. They have their own subculture is what I'm saying. And it takes place on Twitter and on TikTok mostly. Don't take that as representative of all women. Honestly, if you can find a girl who isn't active on Twitter, I would take that as a green flag. Because Twitter legitimately makes you a little bit retarded. Okay, Black Pill. Your looks is not the issue. I had to scribble out the swastika in this guy's avatar. There's still some other... there's an SS logo, but the others are less well known. Most people here are average looking with a significant dose of autism, up to 30% diagnosable, 20 to 25% something diagnosed according to the study. The truth is, we are pretty average all around, save for the autism part. Oh, are we going a mental health route? Are you telling these guys that, you know, if they work on themselves and learn how to push their limitations a bit, or at the very least plan around them, they'll do better? Let's see. Nope, the real problem is freedom. Freedom mentality has allowed these foids to get on dating apps, which has raised dating standards. Freedom has allowed the rich, of course he blames Jews, bosses, to hire Pajeets, that's incel 4chan terminology for Indians, over us. Freedom has allowed rich Jew landlords to take over houses so we can't purchase one. Really? BlackRock is run by Jews? I thought it was run by waspy white dudes. Is the World Economic Forum also Jewish? Because I'm pretty sure it's like the king of the wasps, King Wasp Necromancer Baby Blood Drinker Klaus Schwab is ethnically about the same as I am. And he's the one fucking up most of the world. The anti-Semitism thing never made sense to me, because, like, anything you can hate on Jews for, you can also hate on, like, Anglo-Saxon, you know, white dudes for. Freedom has allowed us to blindly wander while normies stick together, which is what they're good at. No goals, no structure, no order. The more I look into it, inceldom is a societal level problem and is largely caused by freedom and freedom mentality. I mean... He started off good with the first, like, 2 sentences, and then he went on, oh, we should just enslave everyone. You know what would help? You know what would help people who cling to the lowest rung of society? Fascism. Clearly I would be, you know, a Fuhrer or something and wouldn't immediately become a slave because I'm not a normie. It's always the fucking people like this, too. Okay, it's always like the scrawny Fortnite incels who become Nazis, or, like, the self-diagnosed mentally ill fucking they-them Tumblr chicks who want to praise Stalin. The people who hate individualism are the people who benefit from it the most. Rope fuel. Rope fuel is stuff that makes you want to kill yourself. You missed out socializing/dating in uni. You will have to wait almost 4 decades to get another crack at it. Here's how most normies do it. Spend 8 to 25 socializing, 18 to 26 dating, then post-college your social life shits the bed. 27 you get married. 28 through 65 you work in raw isolation and misery for almost 4 fucking decades. You gain 400 pounds. One reason why divorced middle-aged men kick the bucket is because they are catapulted into this misery and isolation with no wife or kids like incels. After 65 it gets better because you get to retire. Okay, so I've been saying something like this for a long time. Life ends at 25 if you let it, because feeling alive and becoming anything more than a background character in your own life becomes a conscious effort instead of something that society sets you up to be able to do naturally and easily. It is a problem, and it's not the women or the Jews like you think. It's actually a mixture of capitalism plus high tech and post-COVID society making people more atomized. We don't really have a town square that isn't digital anymore. We are hugely lacking in third spaces, which is places outside of the home where you can actually meet people. People's social inhibitions are higher now than they have been at any point in my lifetime. So yeah, it is a problem. You can solve it. If you're off the wall and weird enough and don't care about being seen as a freak, you can do what I do and just be a fucking weirdo. You'll be seen as immature and childish. You'll be told to act your age. But the people who get it will get it. And the thing is, it's almost specifically millennials who don't get it. The boomers and Gen X will be like, oh, there's a young man who is still, not just addicted to his phone all day. But yeah, dude, as with most of the things you guys go through in terms of socializing, I'll say there is something to be gained by forcing it. Now, don't take that the wrong way and, get all fucking rapey. I'm saying you should force having a social life. You should stick your foot into doors, into spaces where you may not necessarily be immediately welcomed. Mommy ASMR is literally massive rope fuel, noose time. Knowing that I will never fucking ever have a Foyd's affection and care makes me want to quit being a pussy and just rope already. Okay, on one hand, I can sympathize with you for being lonely, but dude, Mommy ASMR, if I ever got to the point where I was watching that, it wouldn't be loneliness that took me out. I would commit Sudoku just out of pure shame at that point. I would feel like I had dishonored my family. Luckily, the incels police their own. First response, listening to ASMR is a cuck trait. I mean, at least that type. Incel trait. People laugh at you when you're just minding your own business. I went outside for groceries and people glance at my face and snicker to themselves. And if they're in a group sometimes, they will burst out laughing. Over. Sometimes I think to myself that I might not be as ugly as I think I am, but then I go outside and people start laughing at me. I mean, if this is happening as an adult, it's probably not what you think it is. Unless you're dressed like incredibly funny, you're probably just getting in your own head. I understand, because, I grew up getting picked on, too. It's natural to carry that with you for a while and, fucking be like, oh, a group of people laughed in my presence. That must mean they're laughing at me. It doesn't always mean that. I wouldn't worry too much. This isn't like the other post about being laughed at where there was kind of some evidence there. Personality detector. This is some meme. Woman's personality detector when you write misogynist comments on incel forums. Super good. Women's personality detector when you're a drug dealer, dictator, abuser, etc. And it's just some guy with a stick. Okay, so while having a shit personality is probably the issue for a lot of you, I do think it's kind of victim blamey to tell incels that the reason they're lonely is because they're bitter. Because the reason they're bitter in the first place is because they're lonely. Like, it's a little victim blamey. It's another one of those thought terminating cliches that people use when they don't really want to see you get any better. And as far as women going for drug dealers and dictators and shit like that, I mean, for people who aren't doing too well in life, money can make them overlook a lot of shit. So that's what's going on there. Short guys, stop going to the gym. Why? You're not going to intimidate anyone, nor get any hoes. Just being honest, bro. Okay, so like, this is an infiltrator. This is a guy trying to sabotage him, right? Like, like, if you're short, you should go to the gym. Actually, any guy who isn't getting, respect, or, who is getting discriminated against because of his looks should hit the gym. Best case scenario, people decide you look good. Worst case scenario, people are at least afraid to tell you that you're a hideous, ugly freak. And if you can't be a Chad, be a Bubba. Being a Bubba is still valid. Be the rugged, tough fucking guy. You'll find your niche and you'll scare away the shallow assholes who want to pick on you. Okay, this is some reply. This has a lot of slurs for trans people in it. I'm going to have to replace them with different words. Hold on here. I don't care about Celeste players unless they are hidden 100 Gex fans that Jews are trying to shill to us like Taylor Swift. Becoming a programmer is the worst thing you can do as a man. Which, is this really an incel or is this a tinfoil hat QAnon? Because, like, the Taylor Swift is trans thing, I keep hearing that from, like anti-vax boomers. I don't understand it. Like, is it just, do you not realize that women can have flat chests and flat asses? Like, maybe she's just, like, anorexic or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan or a Taylor Swift hater. I just kind of wish people wouldn't talk about her so much, but here we are. Even on the Incel forum, you have to hear about Taylor Swift again. I hope this would be done after the Super Bowl. Most foids who have family pet dogs lose their virginity to dogs before Chad. Other than that, there's not a lot to actually that's worth reading from this gross post, other than he uses the term rot hole, which is that is a form of anti-poetry. You know what? This whole post is an aristocrat's joke. But yeah, I've heard about the dog pill before. It's kind of on the verge of being another conspiracy theory. And yes, there are girls out there who fuck their dogs and, like, are open about it. I mean, they're on the same level as furries, who are also, men who are attracted to cartoon animals, which is also creepy. I mean, it is what it is. You can't assume every girl with a dog is banging it any more than you assume every nerdy white guy is a furry. This one, now this is an incel's incel. This is a true cell post. Fucking whore bitch, I want to rape you, fucking whore, fucking incel dim, fucking whorefoids, fucking useless bunch of holes. If I, as Chad, I would be raping those holes. There's nothing to add to this. This is just, I mean, this could be satire of incels. This is just low IQ bitching to bitch. Okay, and we're ending with a story time. Hi, this is my first post ever on a forum, really. Long story with detail. It all started in 2018 on Instagram. I didn't talk to many girls or use Instagram at all. I was anonymous. But I did know this one redhead girl on there from Canada. She didn't like me. When things didn't work out with her, I moved on. I saw that she had a fight in an Instagram story with this other girl that was bullying her, a brunette. Because of an enemy of my enemy is my friend. I generally thought that starting a relationship with the brunette would be easy, since we know the same girl and the redhead girl disliked us both. I was wrong, it's not easy. And it's the brunette we're talking about here. She's my problem. Okay, so, I mean, going after the girl who bullies a girl that you hate, I think I've done this before. And it can work. Like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm just a toxic person, but, like, some of the closest bonds I've formed have been formed around mutual hatred of someone, or mutual hatred of something. I don't know, it's, those toxic bonds just kind of hit different, man. Like, I love it. I was 24, the brunette girl was 18. We're 29 and 23 now. The brunette is bisexual. I hate the LGBT shit too, of course you do, but she seemed normal, not woke. Yeah, no, they're actually not all the Tumblr caricature. The ones who are like vegans, they'll let you know within the first 5 minutes of knowing them, so there's no reason to like try to filter all of the, the bisexuals. Me and the brunette girl got on great at first. She calmed me down when I was angry about the other girl. I DM'd brunette on Instagram to try and have regular conversations, but I was never annoying. I ensured to leave 4 to 5 days between our conversations just to not spook her. I saw that she made up with the redhead one day. She followed her. I asked the brunette, why are you following her? Like, did you guys make up? Brunette then goes crazy. Tells me because I'm only 6 years older to stop stalking young girls. Make real friends so you don't have to talk to me. That's when she started blocking me and called me a stalker. This turned into a huge overblown thing because every effort I made to speak to that brunette girl thereafter is you're a stalker. It's 2024, it's still going on to this day. She's ignoring me, although I leave her alone now for long periods of time, 5 to 8 months. I want to be actual online friends with that girl, and I admit I have harassed her in the past, but I've harassed her because she's unreasonable. You'd think after 6 years she'd not care anymore, but I'm the only person in the whole world that she hates. We used to get on, now we don't. I would at least like her to give me an explanation of what her problem with me is. She won't. Okay, so this is gonna be a hot take, but there's a 50% chance that at least one of the women in this story is the problem, okay? This happened after she made up with the redhead girl. So the redhead girl probably talked some shit about you to her, probably got in her head and told her some bullshit. Now, I don't know what you said to the redhead girl, if you actually were a psycho with her, but the brunette should at least give you a chance to explain, rather than just immediately taking the redhead's side. Of course, maybe it also came out that you were homophobic, in which case, I mean, rip bozo, I mean, try not to go around saying you hate LGBT people anymore. But yeah, and I mean, yeah, you harassed her, but it's because she started being a bitch for no reason. I mean, yeah, you're not obligated to be the bigger person and just shut up and go away when a girl snaps at you. Like, I know the feminists would love it that way, but that's just not reality. If they're gonna dish it out, they have to be willing to take it too, and especially if there's no explanation for it. Some of them, sometimes girls will be just unreasonably shitty like this out of nowhere. I don't know. There's always the possibility you're not telling the full story here, and maybe you came at her with a really accusatory tone, like, how dare you be friends with that bitch? But, like, I don't know. I think the redhead pulled some strings behind the scenes, and you kind of got fucked because of it. But, yeah, this has been Incel Posts. Some of these people are just unfortunate young men who I believe I could help a little bit. And then, of course, there's the ones who just post fucking all caps, violent rants and fucking slurs and shit. It's kind of a mixed bag. I think a lot of these guys can actually be helped, but for now, some of them are still kind of fucking funny. I don't know. If you're an incel watching this, don't think just because I think you're acting goofy means that I'm against you. I honestly think a lot of you have a good chance to pull your heads out of your asses and make something of yourselves. And not a lot of people are going to tell you that without it being lined with a bunch of what you would call blue pill cope, where it's like trying to get you to, become a more docile person and, telling you you're acting entitled and silly shit like that. I'm not going to do that because, I'm a fucking edgelord like you guys, okay? So I'm going to give it to you straight. And yeah, I mean, I was probably in a lot of y'all's shoes. I mean, I didn't lose my virginity till I was 17. And I figured out how to carry myself. It wasn't a huge change in my personality. I was just more confident and more louder. And you can, more louder. God damn it, I talk like a 5-year-old. I was more confident and louder. And yeah, that was, you gotta find your niche, and being loudly yourself is the way to do it. But that doesn't mean act fucking insecure. Don't lead with the parts of you that are just instantly, I assume women are hostile toward me, so I'm hostile toward them. That'll create a standoff situation where it'll never work. Anyway, I've yapped for long enough. Guys in the comments, let me know if you want to see more shit like this. Maybe it's fucking helping people who will never even see my attempt to help them, but whatever. Like and subscribe, do your thing. Leave some comments if you have any advice for any of these misguided young men, and I'll see you guys in the next video.